Heracles, the hero of strength and redemption. 1. A divine birth and a cursed fate. Heracles, known as Heracles in Greek, was born to Zeus, the king of the gods, and Alcmene, a mortal woman of noble blood. His birth was no ordinary event. Zeus had deceived Alcmene by taking the form of her husband, and from this union, Heracles was born. But Hera, Zeus's wife, was furious. She despised Heracles not for what he had done, but for what he represented, another reminder of Zeus's unfaithfulness. From the moment of his birth, Hera vowed to make his life miserable. Even as a baby, Heracles showed signs of his divine strength. When Hera sent 2 serpents to kill him in his crib, the infant Heracles grabbed each one in his tiny fists and strangled them with ease. 2. A hero's tragedy. Heracles grew into a powerful young man, strong, brave, and skilled in combat. He married Megara, a princess of Thebes, and had several children with her. For a while, he knew peace. But Hera was not finished. She sent a madness upon Heracles. In his rage and confusion, he mistook his wife and children for enemies and killed them with his own hands. When the madness lifted and he realized what he had done, Heracles was overcome with grief. Seeking atonement, Heracles went to the oracle of Delphi, where the priestess Pythia, speaking for Apollo, gave him a harsh path. He must serve King Eurystheus of Tiryns and perform 12 impossible labors. Only then could he be purified of his sins. The 12 labors of Heracles. 1. The Nemean lions. Heracles was tasked with killing the monstrous lion of Nemea, whose golden fur was impenetrable. He wrestled the beast and strangled it with his bare hands. He then skinned it using its own claws and wore the hide as armor. 2. The Lernaean Hydra. Next he faced the Hydra, a serpent-like creature with multiple heads. When one head was cut off, 2 more grew in its place. With the help of his nephew Iolaus, Heracles burned the stumps to stop them from regrowing, then buried the immortal head under a rock. 3. The Cyrenian Hind. He had to capture a golden-horned deer sacred to Artemis. Heracles chased it for a year, eventually catching it without injury, showing respect to the gods. 4. The Erymanthian Boar. He captured a giant, savage boar that terrorized the countryside. He chased it into deep snow where it got stuck and brought it back alive. 5. The Augean Stables. Heracles had to clean the filthy stables of King Augeas, which had not been cleaned for 30 years. Using his wits, he redirected 2 rivers to wash the filth away in a single day. 6. The Stymphalian Birds. He defeated a flock of man-eating birds with metallic feathers by using a rattle given to him by Athene. When they took flight, he shot them down with arrows. 7. The Cretan Bull. He subdued the powerful bull of Crete, which had been causing destruction. He wrestled it to the ground and brought it back across the sea. 8. The Mares of Diomedes. These were man-eating horses owned by King Diomedes. Heracles tamed them by feeding Diomedes to them, calming their hunger for flesh. 9. The Girdle of Hippolyta. He was to retrieve the magical belt of the Amazon queen, Hippolyta. Though she initially agreed to give it to him, Hera stirred up the Amazons against him, and Heracles was forced to fight and kill the queen. 10. The Cattle of Gion. He had to steal the cattle of the 3-bodied giant Gion. After a long journey across the western lands, he killed Gion, his herdsman, and his 2-headed dog, then drove the cattle back to Greece. 11. The Apples of the Hesperides. These golden apples were kept in a secret garden and guarded by the Hesperides and a 100-headed dragon named Ladon. Heracles sought help from Atlas, who agreed to fetch the apples if Heracles would hold up the sky. Heracles tricked Atlas into taking it back and returned with the apples. 12. The Capture of Cerberus. The final task was to descend into the underworld and bring back Cerberus, the 3-headed guard dog of Hades. With Hades' permission, on the condition that no weapons be used, Heracles wrestled Cerberus with his bare hands and brought him to the surface, completing his final labor. The life after the labors. Having completed the labors, Heracles was forgiven for his crimes and became a celebrated hero throughout Greece. He went on to perform many other heroic deeds. He fought in wars. He freed Prometheus from his eternal torment. He sailed with the Argonauts. He battled death itself to bring back a friend from the underworld. But his life remained full of tragedy. He married Deianira, but was later poisoned by her unknowingly. She gave him a tunic soaked in the blood of the centaur Nessus, thinking it would keep Heracles faithful. In truth, it was toxic, and when Heracles wore it, it burned his flesh beyond healing. The apotheosis of Heracles. Knowing his end was near, Heracles built his own funeral pyre on Mount Ota. As the flames rose, Zeus took pity on his soul.